Hello, everyone. Yeah, I was not able to do a normal episode this week, so welcome to a bonus episode of Courage, Wisdom, Power, where we treat video games like, wait, let me think of something last minute. We treat video games like, chalk art. Chalk art, as like a junior church chalk art competition, that the youth group also has. Anyways, so I was very busy this week. I was not able to write the episode for this week. So this is what you're getting instead. You're getting a thing about what it was I did because it kind of has to do with the show. There's a bunch of things falling off my wall right now. I didn't even realize. I should probably pick that up later. Anyways, so I went to my first ever pastor's conference. I've never been to a pastor's conference before. I've been to one like as a little kid that I barely remember, but that's as far as I've gotten. And it was very fun. It was very fun. It was very interesting because like if you didn't already know this, which I don't know if it was clear or not by like the nature of the show, just by way of doing stuff. I want to be a pastor. I really do. I'm going to college for it. I'm really excited to do that. I really want to be a pastor. Like, it's one of my strongest desires. And that's how I know that it's truly a calling from the Lord, because it's one of my strongest feelings of, pushing me to something, and like, all my gifts up to this point that I've been given have been pushing towards this goal. And like all the things that I've done in ministry so far have also pushed towards this goal. So it was really, really awesome to go. I'm actually gonna grab my schedule. I'll be right back. I got a new Bible, so I put it in there as like a remembering. I just remembered I left something back at the office. It's fine. No, Courage, Wisdom, Power does not have an office building. It's for the ministry I work with. That was the pastor's conference. That's like how I got to the conference. I work with the ministry for a co-op for my school. But they don't like calling it a co-op. They like calling it work-based learning, but it's a co-op. It's a co-op. But it was a designated field trip. Like, we got the field trip form and everything. It was Monday evening through Wednesday evening of this week. And so I'm just going to go through the schedule and go through each thing that happened, because a lot of things happened. So first, I got there at like 3. I got at the church at like 3. I forgot my name tag, so a bunch of people thought I was just a wandering teenager. And they were very confused, and so I had to get introduced to a lot of people, which I got introduced to so many people. That was like a big thing, just like fellowshipping, just with random people, because every single person was like a trusted individual and a very cool person. And one of the first things I saw that I was very excited for is there was a book sale, and if you didn't know, I really like books. Books are my first. Not my first love. My first love is the Lord Almighty. But a close second love is books. They've been a big part of me for a really long time, and I fell away from them for a very long time too. But now I'm getting back into them, so this was perfect timing. And so I went to the book sale, and the books were pretty average price, but I could only really afford one with the cash in my wallet because they were only taking cash, and it was $8, which was exactly what I had. It was called, what was it called? It was, I'm just gonna go grab it. I keep walking away from the mic, I'm sorry. Wait. Okay, found it. Alright, sorry, I just put it back on my shelf this morning because I just finished it this morning. Not this morning, this afternoon. Finding the Right Hills to Die On, The Case for Theological Triage by Gavin Ortland. Holy crap, this was an amazing book. It was worth the $8. I'm going to pass this around to like all my friends now. It's about, well, theological triage, which is, triage is a medical term on a battlefield, meaning like when the medic runs out and there's like a bunch of people who are all hurt, but they got to pick the specific people who are like the most damaged to treat first. So it's that, but theologically. So like if there is another Christian who you think is struggling, are they really struggling? Or do you just not agree with their theology? And there's like different levels of theology that are important to the faith. And the only one that you really need to care about in others, that it really points out in this, like the only one you really have to care about in others outside of like your church body is first, like, primary theological ideals, which are anything overtly said in the Gospels, the Trinity, the virgin birth, and that's pretty much it, yeah. And creation. I mean, it's creation. Like, you just gotta know that was a thing that happened. You don't have to agree on the specifics of it. It even calls like young Earth, old Earth theory a tertiary theological idea. So like it comes third place, and it really doesn't matter. Like you can have people in your church who are both old Earth and new Earth, and it doesn't matter. They can still mingle and be part of the family of the Lord, and that is awesome. And yeah, I highly recommend this book, Finding the Right Hills to Die On by Gavin Ortland. Yeah, put that on your TBR if you have one of those. Really good. Loved it. Lovely dovely. Anyways, after I bought that book, the secretary of the ministry I work at, she's all nice and stuff to me. She's this nice old lady, and she said, "Oh, I see you're buying books. Did you know there's a free book table?" And I just stared at her. There was a free book table? Where? And she pointed on my map to where it was, and it was like in the lunch hall in the back. There was like this side room they had set up where pastors would just bring in books from their church libraries or from their office libraries, just boxes and boxes of books, and just drop them off, and you just take whatever you want. And like it's an exchange, so there was an unspoken rule of like you gotta leave something behind. But like they were very like nice to me about it, because I was the young 18-year-old who is thinking a lot about ministry and really needs a library. And so they were like, "Oh yeah, just grab anything, take many, many boxes, please. Just take everything, please." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'll do that." And the first night I came home with 2 full boxes, which was like 2 full shelves of books. I have pretty small shelves. They're IKEA shelves, but it was still a lot of books. Second day, I was planning on not getting any more books because that was so many. And I was like, oh, there's just a little bit of empty space on one of those shelves, so I gotta fill it up. I ended up coming home with another box full of books. And then the last day, I came home, and I had to sneak into the house with these ones. So sorry, Mom and Dad, if you're listening to this, but I felt like I had to sneak in with the way they reacted to the second set of books. And that was just like half a shelf of them. So it was just like a decreasing amount each day, but I got like a whole library now, like a whole side of my shelf, like a whole side of my shelving unit is just that. Like it's bigger than my game collection now, which I've downsized like a whole ton. Just to fill in real quick, that's going good. I'm downsizing a whole ton with my collection because I realized I was idolizing video games. Anyways, that's a topic for a whole nother day. Might be the season finale. I don't know. It could be. That would be a good season finale. But yeah, after that, we ate supper. That was good. I met more people. And then they had the first plenary session, which was the first like actual like church service. It was about weakness and being strong in your weakness. It was actually a two-parter. He did the other half of it later on Tuesday morning. It was really good. It was really powerful. It was really powerful. I really liked it. The verse spots were 2 Corinthians 1, 3 through 11, 2 Corinthians 12, 1 through 10. If you want to look and see those. And it was just about how, like, we are strongest in the Lord when we are at our weakest, when we are at our humblest. And that was really powerful, and that really spoke to me. I really liked it. And then after that was dessert and fellowship. I met a pastor couple in my area. That was pretty cool. And I started learning that everyone already knew who I was. They already knew Henry the intern. And so anytime anyone said Henry, they'd go, oh, Henry the intern. And like, that was just my name for the entire conference, just Henry the intern. Like, there were even people joking, like, oh, so your middle name's The and your last name's Intern. And I was like, yep, that's exactly it. Don't look at my name tag. It's Henry the Intern. And so that was really fun. That was really fun to play with. And a lot of people asked about, like, what it was that I did as the intern. And it basically, I work at a para ministry, which a para ministry is not a church, but like one of the organizations that connects up with a church on specific things that they are good at. And this one specifically is good at rural areas and rural ministries. So like, I think the exact population amount of a rural town in America is 50,000 or less. So right around there, farm country, which is most of the United States. And one of the things they had me do is I made a map. And that map was like the statistics of every county in the U.S. that is 5% evangelical or less. And a majority of the counties on it are rural, are less than 50,000 population. And a lot of it's in Utah, too. Just a whole lot of Utah. The Mormons are scary. That'll be another episode. Be prepared for that one. I've been doing a lot of research at work about Mormons. So, be ready for that. I got a lot of things to say. But a bunch of people were asking about that and pointing out different things on it. Like, hey, yeah, I know that place. Yeah, I see why that would be on the map and like this and that. And that, And that was really fun. That was really fun to get that encouragement. And just so many older pastors just walking up to me and going, can I pray for you? Can I hug you? Thank you so much for being so passionate about going into ministry and like doing all of these things to prepare yourself for ministry. And I was like, thank you. That means a whole lot, because this is like the main thing. This has been my main focus for years now. And like finally having the time to put all my energy towards that. And knowing I have like all this encouragement too is just so, the Lord is good. The Lord is good, guys. And I want to tell the world. I already know I'm not going to be able to tell the world, but I want to tell people, anyone, I want to tell that the Lord is good. The Lord is good. The Lord loves you. The Lord wants you. And this really opened my eyes to how much I want to do that. Anyways, so Tuesday, let me go through the sessions real fast. First one I went to, evangelism in a rural context in a place with few strangers, because this also fit with like high school life. Like I was able to replace rural town with high school really easily, because you know pretty much everyone in your high school. Even if it's a big school, you know most of the people there. So that was really encouraging, really helpful. It basically tapered down to, you do not know as many people as you think. Show the light to everyone. Show the light to the people that you've never met in your life, who have just like faded into the background. And that was really encouraging. I really like that. And it was also done by the head of the school that I want to go to, the college I want to go to, eventually. I have this whole college plan laid out. I'm not going to explain it. That's personal information. And I'm trying to be as vague as possible with all these little names and stuff. That's why I'm not name dropping like the name of my ministry and the name of the college I want to go to, because I don't want stalkers. Like you guys are great. Thank you so much for listening, but like, don't stalk me, please. Don't do it. Anyways, then the bookstore was back open and I grabbed some more free books, and God's Power in Our Weakness, part 2. So God's Glory was the night before. The morning after was God's Power. Very convicting. Loved it. Fantastic. And lunch. And then Looking for Sabbath Rest was my session that I went to in the afternoon. And it was about what sabbaticals are, because I didn't know what that word actually meant and what it means to actually Sabbath. And that was really helpful, because I always thought it was just like, oh, vacation time. And it's not. It's not vacation time. It's go home and work on your relationship with the Lord for 3 months and then come back and tell us what you did. It's not just like go and go to the Grand Canyon or something like that, or go play video games or something like that. No, it's like, like go visit another church, visit some family members that you feel like you've been distant from and need to start a spiritual connection with. Your primary close family, like your wife, your kids, brothers, sisters, parents, like strengthening your bonds with them. There's exercising counts in there. So just when you said that, I was just imagining a pastor just going, okay, thank you so much for listening to this last message. Just so you know, I'm going on a 3-month sabbatical. I gotta get them gains. I gotta take a break so I can get them gains real quick. I'll be back once the gains are good. When I get back to the pulpit, I'm gonna be ripped. Like, that was funny to think about. Just like pastor before sabbatical is just this skinny little dude, and then after he's just like this big bulk Dwayne the Rock Johnson looking guy. Yeah, that was really interesting. And then afterwards he had some extra time, so he did an extra thing on 20 things. 20 things you weren't told going into ministry that you wish you were, or something like that. I think I have it written down somewhere. Where did my Padfolio go? It's over there. Let me grab that. I'm going to read this. These are not my words, nor were they his words. They were from an article, but he couldn't remember because he didn't write down his sources. Write down your sources, guys. Those are very important. I'll be right back. Let me grab that thing. I'm going to yell so you know I'm still here. Hello. Did you hear me that whole time? You probably did. Okay. Now, my notes on this thing. I literally, my hand was cramped because of how fast he was flying through it. Where is it? That's the next one. Here we go. Okay. 1 through 20. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do. 2, you have to lead people. 3, people will act weird around you. 4, you are wanted 24/7. 5, workaholism is terrible for the family. 6, leaving it hurts. People leaving the church really hurts. Check on the mental health of your pastors. That was something else I learned. Pastors don't get any discipleship. Talk to your pastor. Ask him how he's doing. You will always try to compare yourself to a smaller church or a bigger church. The biggest attacks are going to be internal. You will not be discipled. You will fight depression, cynicism, and much, much worse. Your success from others will be based on congregation size. You'll never be good enough. Your family will be profoundly impacted. Lack of seminary equals judgment from your sanctuary. Money will be a problem. You will likely move many times. Leaving a church feels worse than leaving a family. Spiritual warfare is very real. You will think about quitting very often, and it will all be worth it. that was awesome. I loved hearing all of that. That was so nice. And I'm going to keep that little notebook that I took all my notes in, because that was very nice. That was very helpful. After that, we had like a 3-hour break. So I went down to a local coffee shop, and I got a bit further in my book, and then I came back, and the session was the college guy again. And it was about righteous leadership in regrettable contexts. It was fantastic. It was on Ezekiel 14. You never hear anyone preach from Ezekiel, but like, man, did he preach from Ezekiel. Probably one of the best sermons I've ever heard. Holy crap, that was really, really deep. And like, there was a sermon within a sermon at one point, and that was awesome. Loved it. Fantastic. Then next day, breakfast, and then the first seminar I went to was youth ministry without a youth group. I go to a small youth group, so I felt like this was needed. And by the end of it, I learned my smallest youth group I go to is probably the healthiest one. Yeah, that was a real fun realization to come to. And then after that was the next plenary session, which, I'll be honest, I was very tired at this point, because conference tired is a different kind of tired. So like, I was out of it during this lesson. That is my own fault. Conference tired is another kind of tired that I cannot handle. It was worth it though. It was worth it, but I was so tired. I drank so much coffee. And then lunch, and then I also got to eat dinner the night before with that college guy, and that was awesome. That was so cool. He was so nice. Just such a nice guy. I was so scared the whole time. I was like, I really want to go here. And he was like, just so sweet. And like, it went really well. And he, like, him and his wife, like, really liked me. And like, I think I have a really good chance with this college. So it's pretty awesome. That was so nice. I loved that so much. Anyways, after lunch, the seminar I went to was Reflections on the Revival at Asbury. Now, if you're not a believer and you're listening to this, hi, you should listen to more episodes. And also, have you heard of the gospel of Jesus Christ? But I do know there are non-believers who listen to this. And that's cool. That you're exactly who I want to listen to this. But there was this thing that happened last year called the Asbury Revival, where this really average-sized college, like, they had a service that went on a bit longer than expected, and they didn't stop the service, and it kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going. I'm sorry for the screaming dog in the background. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry for that. Yeah. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, Asbury. So it kept somebody take care of that dog. Okay, so Asbury Revival, it started like just some random Sunday night service, and then it kept going and going and going and going until it was days and days and days long. And the session that I was in about it was saying like just the specifics of what a revival is, and how there's two different kind of revivals. There's a big R revival and a little R revival. The big R revivals is when you get like the Jesus Revolution and like the Great Awakenings and like all this other stuff, and like the Welsh Awakening. These are all incredible things to research, by the way. I might have to steal some of them I might have to steal some of this lesson here to do an episode on it, because like the history of revivals, because that was so much church history, so interesting, and like close church history too. Like the Great Awakening was like 1850s. I say close, but that's still like what, like almost 200 years. Yeah, oops. But oh my goodness, that's not close. But it's closer than Martin Luther. But after that, there was another break, and then the last session was about one talent churches, where I finally had the servants with the different talents lesson explained to me in a way where it made sense, because that's one of those things in the Bible that never clicked for me, and it clicked for everyone else, and I just never got it, and I finally do now, and that was a great thing. And it was about how, like, yeah, when you're a church, it doesn't matter how much resources you have. It's about what you do with that resource. Are you going to go out and try and double it? Like, go and invest like the other two servants and go double it? Or are you going to be like the one talent servant who had barely anything and he just buried it and was like, you are a cruel server, blah, 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 blah. Like, what are you going to do with, like, if you're a one talent church and you have barely any resources, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to bury it? Or are you going to go and try and double it by investing in all these different things that you have the tools to do? That was really encouraging. That was really nice to hear. So, first pastors conference. For anyone who wants to ever do a pastors conference, there are a few things that I would like you to know. First, there's free books. There are free books. They are awesome. Grab as many free books as you can. Give away as many books as you can too. Just be nice about that too. And it's hard. It's really tiring. You make a whole ton of relationships with people you probably will never see again, because they live on the other side of the country. Or you'll see them in a random coffee shop at some point. I've heard of that kind of thing happening. So, yeah, I recommend going to pastors' conferences. That's such a weird thing to say. But, like, if you are a teenager and you have any interest in ministry whatsoever, find a local pastors' conference and go to it. Just go to it. Go, like, ask your pastor. Ask your pastor, like, hey, are there any pastors' conferences coming up? And can I join you? And he'll probably very, very excitedly say yes. Because, whoa, this kid wants to be a pastor. He wants to spread the gospel. Yeah. Like, that's like a dream. That is an absolute dream. But yeah, just go to your pastor or your elders or whatever you got and just go, hey, can I come along? I'd love to. Please, like, you get school off. So, I mean, unless it's like in the summer, it's probably better if you do it in the summer. I think my school truancy officer is going to be against me now. That's scary to think about. So I'm not going to think about it. Anyways, yeah, pastors' conferences are pretty neat. Probably one of my favorite things that I've learned about when it comes to being a pastor, and going to be a pastor and like getting ready to be a pastor, and like, I do recommend, if you are a pastor, like if you are a pastor or someone who wants to be a pastor or a pastor in training, go to a pastor's conference. They're great. They're pretty great. Like, you make friends. You make lots of friends. It's very fun. I got this group of 3 guys from North Dakota. I live in Illinois. I'll probably never see them ever again. But, like, they were really cool. They were really, really nice guys. I met a British person, and I was surprised that British people were real. That was really fun. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Anyways. Thank you so much for listening to this very last minute bonus episode. We'll be back to your regularly scheduled programming next week. I just felt like I needed an explanation for where I was, and that would make a good episode. So next week, I'm planning on the episode being about Nostradamus. I've been doing a lot of research on him, and I got things to say, and they're not good. They're not good things to say. There's a reason he's in the false prophets line of episodes. Yeah, be excited for that. I'm putting a lot of research into it. It's going to be pretty great. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. I'll be back next week. Remember to have the courage to stand up for the faith, the wisdom to speak God's word, and the power to live for the Lord in everything we do. Go buy some merch. The new merch looks great. Go to the Discord. Join the Discord. Do some stuff in there. Join the Patreon if you want to support the show. You want to support this little ministry that I got forming here. And yeah, have a great one. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.